All right, so chapter 1136 is out. Fair warning. 1, I'm very sick. And 2, I think this is my 4th time trying to film this video between interruptions and my sound being trash when I successfully got through it all. I don't know. I also deleted all my notes after finishing it the last time, thinking I was done. And now we're just doing this on the fly. But it's One Piece. It's a delight. I remember what happens in one chapter. Maybe. Luffy is an absolute delight. I love him. And he is eating the moose meat that the giants gave him and comparing it to dinosaur. And of course he's had dinosaur in the past. Little Garden, it's a delight. He's had dragon before. He knows what it all tastes like. And I love the idea of him comparing any kind of meat to dinosaur, like the way we compare it to chicken, and that is just lovely. I love Luffy. Usopp, Captain Usopp is back about his grand voyage and battles to the giant children, explaining how he took down Oars. And while he did help in taking him down in Thriller Bark, he obviously had the help of the entire crew, and it was Luffy who got the final punch. I love when Usopp's lies, which majority of them, if not all of them, have come true. And I want like in the future, him and his 8,000 men to fight someone named Oris and actually be him who takes him down and defeats him. I want that so very much. I love when his lies come true. The presence of Jinbei brings up conversation of fishmen and the different culture and race to the giants, and then they're asking all these questions, and then of course that brings us through into mermaids, and Sanji has to bring up Mermaid Cove. I don't need a reminder of what he was like in the Fishman Island arc, so I skipped over his conversation there. And we get to Brook, who is singing a song when someone asks him, like, what are you? You're a skeleton. He just burst into song. I love that for him. But again, brings up the conversation about how the giants, and especially the giant children, they haven't been exploring in these recent generations. The crew had all assumed that giants would be all pirates, but that's not the case. Most haven't left the island, but they all have this natural curiosity for the outside world, asking questions, wanting to know about what's out there. There's this desire to see the outside world, like there is with everybody. And I would just love, if they don't need to become pillagers and raiding villages and be pirates. They don't need to do that. But like what if some became archaeologists and voyaged out to see the outside world? I would love that. Robin would love that. Saul would love that. Bring the information back to the library. I want that. Road apologizes specifically to Nami about the whole kidnapping thing and, changing her clothes. And I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit at the gag that I didn't even realize we were having when Zeus comes up and says, hey, now remember your place. You're slave number 3. I'm 1, Sanji's 2, you're 3. Remember the pecking order here. And I'm like, is Nami collecting these people to serve her? Indentured servitude? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's funny. And it set us up for what is probably my new favorite Zoro line. Don't get me wrong. I love the nothing happened line as much as the next person. But for him to look Road in the eye as Road is apologizing and say, it wasn't that big a deal. It's not like anyone died. However, that's only because Usopp stopped me. If he hadn't, it would have been your head. I love that line, okay? Cue the doctor girl Gerd saying next time don't hold back, and it makes me not trust her, like at all, because again, Frenda Linlin probably has some sympathy towards her friend being ostracized through events that were not her fault. She couldn't control the hunger pain. She didn't mean to kill anyone. She didn't mean to hurt anyone, and that sent her off in a whole other course of life. Gerd might have issues with how people still treat and judge her. I'm just saying, I don't trust her at all. Now we confirmed sadistic streak as well as obsession, passion, interest, fascination with humans in general. I don't know. Don't trust her. Not saying she's going to betray us. I don't think she's going to betray us, but if Big Mom does show up, I feel like her power of friendship with her might bring them around and have healing journey for both Big Mom and the Giants. I do not believe Big Mom is dead, okay? I'm not believing that. I feel like her story was cut too abruptly, and it will make me dislike Wano more than I already do if she actually is dead. Road talks about how everyone's dream on Elbaf is to be the sun god and to rule the world. And that brings up a conversation. Is Nika, is the sun god a ruler? Are they a destroyer? Are they a bringer of laughter? Are they a conqueror? Like, what are they? There are so many different texts, and one of them, Harley, I think, is, again, there's so many different texts in different languages, different translations, that no one's exactly sure the true story, and the Harley text is written in an archaic language that isn't really spoken. So I'm wondering if that's the same language that's on poneglyphs. Could Robin read it and get a more accurate view on who Nika is, who Joy Boy is, something like that? And I would love that so very much. But we also get the good combination of who is Nika? Are they a destroyer? If they are always brought up during a time of great destruction, did they bring it or did they arise because of it? And we know Luffy could destroy anything he wanted. He also could he liberates millions. And he is, like, they're referred to like the god laughter. He's known for his laugh. But as been talked about before, Loki also meets these requirements. We see him in a flashback destroying villages. He's laughing while the town's on fire. And while that is destruction, I fully believe that he does it in his own mind to liberate Elbaf, to bring his people back on the correct path of, yeah, probably plundering and war and fighting and piracy and all that. Not the nicest kind of path, but away from the oppressive thumb of assimilation into the world government. He's seen what his own father was leading them, and I don't think joining the world government would have been a good idea for his people. So he probably thought doing this would prevent that. We also learn, I'm going to defend Loki for a while because he was born under the prophecy. Luffy also has a prophecy about destroying Fishman Island. We're going with destruction. And it's going to be a destruction. To destroy Fishman Island is actually to save its people, like bring them to the surface. It's got to be, clearly. It's either that or Roger's coming back from the dead wearing a straw hat and is going to destroy everybody. Unlikely. So Luffy, destroy Fishman Island, save everybody. Loki prophesies to apparently kill his own father. Now, I can only imagine that prophecy led to a little bit of a fracture of the father-son relationship, probably influenced how he was raised growing up, especially when you hear people blaming him that the day of his birth, this noble horse, whatever, died. A year later, Lin killed this giant, and a year after that, the queens died, and they're placing that blame on child Loki, saying at 10 years old, he went to the underworld and used it as his playground, taming all these beasts. When Luffy tames a bunch of beasts, it's awesome. When Loki does it, well, maybe if it's bad, you should raise him better. He's a 10-year-old boy. How about you show him some love, compassion, and parenting? But no, when Loki burns down a village, it's a terrible thing. When Oden, I don't know, floods a village, takes over a harem, does all this destruction, Wano wanting to be better for his people, wanting to make things better, but accidentally makes things worse, we praise Oden as a wonderful character. I'm going to defend Loki until I can't anymore, okay? I believe in this man. I've been proven wrong before, but I do not believe that we are viewing Loki under the correct perspective. Back to the text. So the texts that in Elbaf say that the world was destroyed twice before, and each time Nika's name or the sun god's name was brought up, and he could be a herald of great change, and that causes fear for those in charge. So if the world's been destroyed twice before, logically, I'd go with the first time being the original creation of the story of the sun god and Nika, and the second time during the Void Century. Now, I'm not saying, I am tinfoil hat, I kind of like it, that Eam was the original Joy Boy and then used the immortality operation with La's Devil Fruit to transfer into Lily's body, but that would also pair up nicely with the unknown of, is Nika a conqueror, a destroyer, or a liberator? Could they be anything? But it would kind of be fun if they were a failed Nika, had the Devil Fruit, there was a broken promise, they chose to do this anyway. Unlikely, I'm sure Joy Boy was a completely different person. We've seen their silhouette. That being said, we don't know who the real Eam is because they're definitely in Lily's body. There's so many possibilities Oda can do, and I'm excited to see what happens. Was the world actually destroyed twice and have more or less reset? Was it destroyed more than twice? Was it 2,000 times? Who knows? I'm excited, okay? I'm very excited because especially when you're saying that we don't have direct translations and mistranslations can happen down the line, I want to know what Oda's going to do with that. Cutting in, because I forgot to mention the shield that was brought up in this chapter. So Nika is shown holding a shield with a bunch of dots around it, and the dots match the symbol for Wano's clan crest, and also the cross in Kuma's church. So it's clearly a symbol related to Nika specifically. We've seen Nika with the shield before, and I'm willing to bet if I reread Alabasta and Fishman Island somewhere, if Oda did the foreshadowing we love for him, that we would see that symbol somewhere as well, almost like a nod to those loyal specifically to Nika, those who had the poneglyphs, those are telling his story. I really need to reread Alabasta soon. I need to start my One Piece reread. But also, the cross of the world government, I can't help but think there might be a parallel there. Like, if you connect all the dots and formed a cross of it, it looks more like the world government symbol, the uniting of nations. So maybe those dots could represent all the nations that were loyal to Nika, and the ones that were lost became the world government ones, but some still stayed loyal to Nika, and those are the ones that are missing from the world government symbol. Not sure. Probably a stretch, but I'm very excited to see how this plays out, and is there reference to it in Fishman Island and Alabasta? Back to Loki. So 6 years ago, he was taken down by Shanks. What else was happening 6 years ago? We got Nico Robin joining up with Crocodile, the Sorbet Kingdom's original king coming back and trying to overthrow Kuma. Shanks became a warlord, so likely something that he proved himself taking down Loki, whatever Loki was doing, made Shanks go up in notoriety to get the title of Emperor. And I'm saying that maybe, I'm really convinced that Nico Robin joining up with Crocodile, if Shanks knew that Nico Robin's connection with O'Hara, reading the poneglyphs, knowing that she'll have to be a big player in the game, is now joining up with the Warlord, it probably kickstart his plan into motion, especially with the attack on the Sorbet Kingdom. I feel like all these important things were happening, and it's like, all right, plan, time to get in motion, I gotta move. I just think the timeline adds up a little too cleanly. It was also when Iceberg was promoted and came in. We know his history with Tom and the Pluton, and the time that Frankie came back from the dead, even under a new identity. So much happened 6 years ago. So when Luffy hears the confirmation that Shanks did interact with Loki, it makes him think Loki was telling the truth about knowing where Shanks is. He's having a conversation with Zoro. Luffy cannot keep a secret, clearly told Zoro the second he had the chance about his conversation in the underworld and how excited he is to wanting to meet Shanks again. Zoro's like, yeah, you told me that 1,000 times, but I still think he's lying to you. He's like, well, I'll send him flying if he is. And Zoro's like, well, I'm going to come along, help you get this key that you need to free Loki. Mostly because I think Loki, via his reputation, is lying to you, and I'm going to help you or watch you send him flying. Because despite my absolute love for Loki right now and defending him, Luffy will send this man flying. Not even. Luffy's my boy. No one's touching my boy. But my favorite scene of this chapter is going to be them about to sneak off, and Nami being like, if you're about to sneak off to do what I think you're doing, your crazy, reckless scheme with no planning, how do you expect to find your way without me? I'm the navigator of this crew. And I love that. So they make their way to the castle, and Nami may or may not rob the treasury, but that's where the key is supposed to be. They're going to find the two unconscious bodies of the ones that not Shanks and the mummy girl knocked out. So we'll see that next chapter, no doubt. But then, cut to Loki laughing in the face of two of the supposed God's Knights, not Shanks, and we learned her name, Gunko? Oh my god. He laughs in their face as he is offered a position, supposedly, within the Holy Knights, and he is laughing, saying, you pathetic celestial dragons, why would anyone work for you? You're all scum. I wouldn't do it under any circumstances. I'm barely paraphrasing. He laughs in the face of the most powerful organization in this world. Protect Loki at all costs. I refuse to believe the slander that is done to his name. So Gunko, whatever the mummy girl's name is, goes to attack Loki. However, the wolf interferes and she ends up attacking the wolf, which Loki does seem upset about, as he doesn't want, I guess, his pet/friend to be killed, really. But when Not Shanks says, if I were to offer to release him, would you agree to join us? And Loki's like, that's how you play it? No, I would wish him a peaceful time in death, and I would use my rage to destroy this world and you. And I'm like, My boy, protect Loki. How can anyone think this man is bad? I'm so excited for the next chapter, but I'm also very sick, so I'm gonna go find some orange juice and go back to bed. So talk to you later. Hopefully the sound actually worked this time when I recorded this video. Bye.